NoDQ.com.
Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift.NoDQ. I have your questions today from twitter.com/AaronRift using the hashtag NoDQturns20. Let's go ahead and get started. First one comes from Alfredo. Hey, my compadre Aaron, hope you're having a great day. With the tease of Batista versus Samoa Joe, do you think WWE and Batista could have a done deal already for his return and wanting to be a surprise? I would legitimately be surprised if Batista shows up on Smackdown 1000. Now, Batista did go on social media and say that WWE did not invite him. Maybe that was him working people. But I still feel like WWE isn't going to really put a whole lot into SmackDown 1000. I think what WWE posted on Facebook with those dream matches, which included Batista versus Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle versus Daniel Bryan, yes, they are matches that have a realistic possibility of happening. But at the same time, I feel like WWE was just doing that to merely hype up the show and nothing more. And now that it's out there, I don't know if WWE is going to deliver on any of those matches, and I would not hold my breath. I would be surprised if any of those matches do in fact end up happening at SmackDown 1000. I think the best we're going to get is maybe Edge shows up and does a cutting edge, and maybe one legend will return, maybe a few of the mid-carders, maybe guys like $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase that never really did anything on SmackDown will be there. You know how WWE works at this point. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting. Sergeant Slaughter, you know, when did Sergeant Slaughter ever do anything on SmackDown? Watch, he'll be there. It's just ridiculous. But that's what I'm expecting for SmackDown 1000. Cutting edge, Sergeant Slaughter, Ted DiBiase, and maybe Batista if we're lucky. But I'm not expecting a whole lot. I am keeping my expectations low. Got this one here from Rollins versus Styles, please. Is Undertaker versus Triple H going to be the main event of Super Showdown? Seems like it's been the only match with any big build-up. Yeah, I think that is a very safe prediction to make. I would like to see AJ Styles and Samoa Joe be the main event for Super Showdown, since it is the WWE title and since AJ has not gotten the opportunity as WWE champion to close out a dual branded pay-per-view. I think it should happen, but let's face it, the draw of this show is Undertaker versus Triple H, with Shawn Michaels and Kane being added to the mix. So yeah, when you add Kane to the mix and Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, Joe's chances of being in the main event drastic go down, to quote Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. I would like to see AJ and Joe close the show, though. If it was me, I would go with that. Let Undertaker and Triple H be the mid-card. But we know that ain't going to happen. Or as I like to say, highly unlikely in all likelihood. Got this one here from Chris. Hey Aaron, should Randy Orton bring back his signature punt kick back into his arsenal? I was a big fan of it, and do you see at least one more world title run from him? Yes, I would like to see the punt kick brought back. Will it? I have no idea. You should tweet at Randy Orton. Let him know you want to see the punt kick back. Tweet at WWE. Tweet Road Dogg, since he reads everybody's tweets and is very opinionated on what people have to say. I would tweet all of them and let them know. If you really want to see the punt kick, you got to let them know. You got to let them know there is that demand. I think it makes sense for the heel character. Randy Orton's a heel now. It's a heel move. It puts people out of commission. I say why not? I say go for it. Bring it back. As far as him being WWE champion again goes, I think it's inevitable. Randy Orton only has time. And unless he gets seriously hurt and has to retire early, I think it is going to happen at some point. If he's in this business for another 5 to 10 years, it's pretty much inevitable. He'll have opportunities, and I think it will happen. This next one comes from James. Hey Aaron, would you like to have seen Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in the Mixed Match Challenge? It would be fun watching them against people you would have never imagined, like Uso, Naomi, Styles, Flair, Lashley, Banks, Miz, Asuka, etc. I sense that if that happened, a lot of people would complain. A lot of people would say Triple H and Stephanie are going to bury their talent, and I just don't see how that would get a good reaction from people. I get your view, though. It would lead to some interesting matches, and maybe it would increase viewership. If Triple H and Stephanie were part of that, I could see more people tuning in, but what does that do for the morale in the locker room when you have Triple H and Stephanie basically being the stars of the show instead of the current people? Yeah, that one is definitely an idea that I could see being very heated. And I'm curious to know what you guys think, so leave a comment on NoDQ.com or on the YouTube channel. Let me know what you think. Would you like to see Triple H and Stephanie in the Mixed Match Challenge? I might even do a poll about it on NoDQ just to gauge you guys and see what you all think about that. It is an interesting idea, but I don't know if it is something that I would do personally. I just think that you might open a big can of worms with that one. You might generate more controversy than it's worth. Got this one here from Bazinga. Hey Aaron, I think AJ's title reign so far has not been that great, and I think the reason is that the company is not promoting his title as a big deal. I mean, I don't remember when was the last time he defended the championship in the main event. Your thoughts? I agree on this. I think it has been pretty much the same as CM Punk's title reign, where AJ Styles is the WWE champion, but he's basically a mid-carder that's holding the title. And I think that sucks. I think AJ should be in the main events. I think the WWE title should be closing the pay-per-views. I know Roman Reigns is the big dog. He's the big guy. He's the star of the show. He's Vince's boy, whatever. No, Brock Lesnar's Vince's boy, yada, yada, yada. But I think AJ Styles should be showcased more. And I think just once it would be nice for AJ to close a pay-per-view with a WWE title defense. But like I said in that previous question, don't see it happening at Super Showdown. Don't see it happening, period. I mean, I think the only time we're going to see AJ Styles close a pay-per-view maybe is if WWE decides to do AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, champion versus champion. I think that's AJ Styles' only real chance of closing the show. And then, of course, will he go over Roman Reigns? I don't think so, but stranger things have happened, I will say that. Anything can happen, but would surprise me to see AJ Styles not only beat Roman Reigns on a pay-per-view, but even get the main event spot of an upcoming WWE show. This one comes from SCW Wrestling Channel. Hey Aaron, with managers being given talent on Raw, I was wondering if it would be more beneficial for Shinsuke Nakamura to have a manager on Smackdown. If you agree, who would you have as Shin's manager? Great question, and I think if Shin is going to stay a heel, and I think there's an argument about that too. For me personally, I think maybe it's time for him to go back to being babyface. I think this heel run has pretty much been a flop. I think it could benefit him, though, if he is going to stay a heel, to have a manager, just somebody to talk for him. Let Shin be a silent assassin. Let him go out there and just be vicious, and you have the manager doing the talking. As far as who could be his manager, that's a great question. I don't really have a good answer at this point. You could continue the pattern of having 205 Live guys fill those manager roles. Maybe Drew Gulak, somebody like that, could be a manager for Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, what do you guys think? Leave a comment. You might have a better idea than I do at this point. This one comes from Demon Ninjas, the anime fans. Honestly, what era of WWE tag teams would you tell a tag team fan to skip if they never seen anything WWE? Well, I think it's easier to just say which eras a tag team fan should watch. First of all, I would say watch the Golden Era. You had the Hart Foundation, you had Demolition, you had LOD, the Rockers, the Brainbusters, the Nasty Boys. You had some entertaining tag teams, Natural Disasters. That was a fun period for tag team wrestling, no doubt. British Bulldogs, I want to add them too. And then, of course, the Attitude Era, which was probably the best era for tag team wrestling when you look at all the great matches, and the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, the APA. I mean, that was a hot era for tag team wrestling. Definitely avoid the New Generation era. Tag team wrestling sucked then. You had the Smoking Guns. They were, okay. But then you had a lot of crappy teams like... Don't want to be a jerk, but the Head Shrinkers, I like the Samoans, but that tag team to me was boring. You had Men on a Mission, and I think that really says all you need to know about that period. I think in the mid-2000s, it also kind of declined. I mean, you had Law of Resistance and a couple of other teams, but it felt like guys were just being thrown together in tag teams. Like, I can't even remember a lot of tag teams from that era. I mean, didn't you have like Rhino team up with Bubba Ray or Tajiri or something? They just random teams thrown together. I'm having a lot of trouble remembering teams from that period. So yeah, I definitely think mid-90s, 2004, 2005, 2006. To me, those were pretty weak periods for tag teams. This one comes from Mr. Yuck. Might Renee Young being on commentary sway in either direction any chance of a Dean Ambrose heel turn? I don't think Renee Young being on commentary is going to have any impact whatsoever on Dean Ambrose's character. I think they're going to do what they're going to do with him. And I think WWE just tries to keep them in separate storylines. I mean, there was that one time where Renee Young was kind of getting into Dean Ambrose's storyline. But for the most part, they are kept separate. And I think that's the way it'll go in the future. I think unless there's a really good reason for Renee Young to get involved, she will. But yeah, I don't think that that's going to have any effect on if WWE wants to turn him heel or not. I think that is just a totally separate issue. Got this one here from Brandon. Hey Aaron, how is your day going? And what are your thoughts on Matt Hardy retiring video and what he said? My day is going well, thank you for that. Regarding Matt Hardy and his retirement, I think it's basically just telling the fans it's pretty much over as far as his in-ring career goes. He's going to be trying to rehab and see if his body can heal up. And if it does, he'll be back. But I think he's got the mentality that there's a good chance he's done. And he just wanted to say goodbye to the fans and thank them for everything, just in case it is over. As I've talked about with other people on the NoDQ panel, I think it would be cool if he got a proper send-off, maybe one more final deletion match or something. Maybe he gets thrown into the lake of reincarnation and comes out as just plain old Matt Hardy, goes off into the sunset with his family. That might be cool. So that's what I take away from that video that he posted, that he has the attitude that he's pretty much done, but the door might still be open. Never say never. Maybe with rehab, he'll be able to come back at some point. Got this one here from Boogeyman79. Who in your mind do you think are the best announcers? I think it would be Jim Ross and Joey Styles. Your thoughts? Well, Jim Ross is my number one of all time. I mean, that is not for debate. JR is the best in my opinion. As far as color commentary goes, you have some great choices going back to the mid-'80s. Jesse Ventura was always one of my favorites. I think Jesse did a great job being a heel commentator. Same thing with Bobby Heenan, and you have guys like Corey Graves today trying to be like Bobby Heenan and Jesse Ventura, but it's not quite the same. Bobby Heenan and Jesse Ventura were great color commentators. As far as play-by-play guys go, Joey Styles was great, being able to handle things on his own. He was a good announcer, but I don't think he was one of the all-time greats, in my opinion. I really like Mauro Ranallo. I think he's right up there. I mean, after JR, I think Ranallo's the best guy in wrestling. So those would be my top choices right there. Got this one here from Daza. Is the Vince and Austin feud the best feud in WWE history or wrestling history? I think there's a real strong argument for that as far as box office goes. Yeah, it was the biggest feud in wrestling history. It really turned WWE around more than anything else. Right up there with it, Bret Hart, Steve Austin from '97, about a year before Austin and McMahon really got hot. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. But yeah, Austin McMahon, that really changed the game and created so much revenue for WWE, brought in so many new viewers, and really made the company set for life. Really took the empire that had been built in the 80s with Hulk Hogan and just rebuilt it and built it even bigger than people could imagine it being. So yeah, I think that is definitely a strong contender. And yeah, I think I would go for that as my all-time favorite. That'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thank you as always for watching and supporting NoDQ.com. Please share this video. Word of mouth is the best way you can support NoDQ.com and the channel. So please, tell a friend, tell a relative, share this on Facebook or Twitter or Reddit, anywhere. Just let people know about the channel. And on that note, I will see you guys next time.